Hey everybody, it's Dr. Bam back again. Today we're going to talk about this guy. His name is Vygotsky, and he has a social cultural theory. And so if you find yourself falling more on the nurture side of the nature-nurture debate, you may identify well with him because he really focused on society and the impact of nurture on development. We really didn't hear a ton about Vygotsky until the late 1980s. Primarily is because he's a Russian psychologist. And if you know history, you know that we weren't always on the greatest terms with Russia. We still maybe aren't on the greatest terms with Russia. And so a lot of his work was dismissed, being linked to communism and socialism. But when we really got into things and got looking at some of his ideas and his concept, oh, and by the way, another just side interesting fact about him is he was actually jailed for some of his writing and his beliefs in his own country. But when we dive into his concept, he really dives into that social cultural impact on children. And so the first term that we're going to talk about with him in this little blurb is the idea of what we call a more knowledgeable other. And in sometimes developmental books, you'll see it listed as the MKO. And what is the more knowledgeable other? Well, the more knowledgeable other is just what it sounds like. It is the person that has more understanding or knowledge than the person looking to learn or grow or understand. And so let's take it into the classroom. And so we've got a first grade classroom. In that classroom, there could be multiple more knowledgeable others. It could be the paraprofessional that is helping a small group. It's certainly the teacher who's instructing and guiding the learning, but it could also be another student. And age doesn't really play here because remember, it goes to the knowledge. So you could have an 8-year-old helping a 9-year-old work through a math concept. So if that 8-year-old has the more knowledge than the other person, then they can be the more knowledgeable other. And so some people really get stuck into that it has to be the adult that is the more knowledgeable other, but that is not the case at all. It just has to be an individual with more knowledge than the other person. And so we'll see a lot of times that in small groups, in groups with kids, that children can often be the best teachers of each other and really support that understanding because they are really close to it, right? They just develop that knowledge, form that schema themselves, and so they're able to share and help the other person learn as well. And so that is it for right now. Go identify your more knowledgeable others.